Hello everyone, this is Ali and welcome to another episode of core development for RPG. In this episode we have lots of things to cover, so I will start with opening my script folder and going into helpers, opening the helper. In this episode we will start by adding few gizmo helpers. Then we will start by going for cliff climbing animation. Now the cliff climbing animation is a bit complex, more complex than the stream animation, and if you learn that one, then you will be able to pull any other animation off easily without any problem. Okay, so the very first script that I'm gonna make is called control points. Control points is just a gizmo script that I will use whenever I'm dealing with stuff like spawning position. So we will start by public float gizmo size, and that would be 0.5f. The other one will be public float with capital S sphere scale equals to 0.1f, and then a public boolean sphere point equals true, and we will get a private color equals to new color. I will call it sphere color equals to new color. Now 0, 0, 0, but for the alpha I will use 0.1f. This is almost a transparent sphere. Now we don't have any of these methods. Instead we have on draw gizmos, and we say if this dot enabled equals false, then return. That's a sanity check. I will make a video about the importance of sanity checks in the games in 1 or 2 days, but believe me, it's very important. So if we are using sphere point, then we will say before that I will say color tmp equals to gizmos dot color. I always do this. I always cache the previous color of gizmos, and after done everything I will put the color back equals to sphere color, and gizmos dot draw sphere, I think. Yep. With transform dot position, comma sphere scale multiplies by gizmo size, sorry. After that I will say gizmos dot color equals to color dot blue. I will copy paste this code and we'll speak about what I'm doing later. Because it's very long. So we draw a line from transform position to the transform position plus forward multiplied by our gizmo. So we are drawing a line from the position toward the front. Okay, the next line we draw the same line but from this position at the end, from you see here. So transform position, transform forward, and toward the position plus forward, but this time I will do it 0.8 and then up 0.8. So I'm going to upward and doing a line like that. What I'm doing, can I draw a line? Yeah, thank you. A line like that, and then in the next line I will draw it to sorry, it was this line up. Then I will do the below. Then I will do another toward the left and another toward the right. So I will have a shape like this, 4 arrows on different angles. Okay, at the end. Thank you, Mr. Camtasia. Then I will switch the color to green, and remember that was the blue. Then I will switch the color to green, same calculations, and then to red, and same calculations. These files will be on GitHub, so I won't waste much more time. You can check it there. So don't have anything to do with yeah, RPG camera has a little problem. I will show it to you. But now if I choose the player spawn, going to scene after the script being compiled and zoom in here, you see that I don't have any indication of, come on, finish the compiling. Okay, I don't have any indication of the position. But if I add the component called control point, now I have an indicator, but it's a small, so I can use something like 2 and then the radius to something like 0.5. Okay. Oh, what did I do? Okay, so if I now go and click in here, I can easily select it. The reason is this, I'm not sure if you can see it now, it should be visible, this semi-transparent sphere in the middle of the gizmo. Anyway, so this is how we draw 4 lines, as you can see at the tip, and we got the shape. So the positive Z is the blue and positive X is the red. The next one that I will go and make it right now, but we will use it in few minutes now, will be another helper, Alt Insert, class, and we will call it anchor point. In anchor point, we will have some variables like public, come on, every time, public float, again gizmo size equals to 1f. I think 0.5f is more than enough here. Public float, again sphere scale equals to 0.1f, and public, what the hell, not public, bool sphere point equals true. Then 3 colors. Public color. This is sphere color with capital S here, equals to color dot red. Next is public color front color, equals to color dot blue, and then public color line color equals to color dot yellow. One thing that I forgot in anchor in control point, because I just copied it from a wiki page, I always tend to turn back the gizmo's color to the temp color that I cast, so that if I don't have any colors here, that won't ruin my gizmos anyway. So the next one is private. Again, another color. Come on, color. This is with small s sphere color, equals the same thing, new color 0, 0, 0, 0.1 f. And again, under our gizmo. So look at this on draw gizmos. Here, let me copy paste everything and I will speak, because those are just draw gizmo, and this is with capital G, capital F, C, E. There we go. So what I'm doing, first I catch the color again. These open and close brackets means nothing for the program itself. It's just there for guidance for whomever reading the script, that everything related to our gizmo colors change is happening here. At the end, I'm again casting it back. So again, I'm using the color, and I'm drawing a wire sphere, then switching back to front color, drawing a line toward the front, forward, changing it to line color, then going up, right, minus right, that is left, minus up, that is down, minus forward, that is back. And I'm drawing 2 lines as a guidance, that we will see what is the usage for this indication of position. Then again, the semi-transparent sphere. That is only draw gizmos, you know, these 2 scripts are nothing big. That's why I'm moving from them very fast, because we have lots of things to cover. Now, another one that I didn't like, but it's nice to have, and if I find a better way of doing it, I will do it. It's draw trigger boundary, or yeah, boundary. Here you have only one public color, and I will call it bound color, equals to color dot black, not blue, dot black. Thank you. And in draw gizmos, sorry, we have a private variable. I was missing it. So private box collider. Do I need it? No, I don't need it. Come on. Okay, so in private again, another draw gizmo on draw gizmos, copy pasting the code. Okay, and these two lines are irrelevant, so I don't need them. Okay, so I'm casting the color, switching back the color, give the gizmo the color I used, and here is the code. I'm drawing a wire cube in the center of the game object, and the size of its collider's bounds. Okay, we will see that it not works every time, but in most cases it works. If I find any better way, I will use that later in future. With this, our gizmos are finished. Now we want our volumetric trigger. So I will start with cliff climb trigger. In cliff climb trigger, first of all, we say public int jump, or I should say, let's recall it, climb angle equals to 30. But here I'm using a predefined property drawer that Unity gave us, and it's called range. It limits our variable and it shows a slider. It's a really nice way of using these things. So public game object, and it's anchor, but it's a property, so get and set. And yeah, why not? A public, here we use anchor point array, and we call it anchors. Okay, with capital A. Then we have a private boolean, private bool, and we call it in range, then it's by default false. Now in update, first we say if anchor is equals to null, or we are not in range, then simply return. We have nothing to do. Else, with debug.drawLine from RPG motor.instance.transform.position toward the anchor dot transform.position with the color of yellow. Now we define something. We say var angle equals to quaternion dot angle between our anchors dot transform dot rotation and RPG motors instance transform. Oh, sorry, I have to do game object this once and transform and position rotation. Sorry, you may say, hey, you could say instance.transform.rotation. I tried it, I didn't get the correct number. So if our calculated angle is less than climbing angle, we have to do some things, else we have to do other things. We'll come back to this later. Now in fixed update is a method that we'll call not every frame, but I think maybe every 10 frame, every 20 frame, something like that. So if we are not in range, we simply return. We have nothing to do. Else, we say float distance equals to float dot positive infinity. Then we go for each in anchors var, and we call it anchor. What we do is that we say temp. We need to define a variable, sorry, float temp. We set temp equals to vector3 dot distance. We are calculating the RPG motor's instance transform position. Yeah, come on, instance transform position. This time it works, and its distance to our current anchor dot transform dot position. We calculate the distance of our player with the anchor in the array. If temp is less than distance, we do two things. First, we say anchor equals to anchor dot game object. Second, we say distance equals to this temp calculated number. So every fixed update, we get the closest anchor point to our character by this method. Two more methods to go. One, private void on trigger enter with collider other. No. And on trigger exit with collider other. First thing we do, we check if other that get component, what the other dot get component, the component we want is RPG motor, equals to null. So the thing that triggered us is not the player, just return. Then we say in range equals true, and we say RPG. Oh, I'm going ahead of myself, but no problem. RPG player motor dot instance dot in cliff range equals to true. This is a boolean that we will define in our RPG player motor. Then on trigger exit, we say in range equals false, and in cliff range equals false. Back to the two conditions we left. I want to finish this guy, even though I will get errors, and then go to the other methods. I don't want to do jumping. So RPG animator dot instance dot anchor that we don't have yet equals our current anchor, and RPG player motor dot instance dot another boolean do cliff jump equals true. Okay, so we say if the angle is less than the predefined angle, that is 30 degrees, we want to do the cliff jump. Otherwise, we say RPG animator dot instance dot anchor equals to null, and RPG player motor dot instance dot do cliff jump equals false. So we do a natural neutral jump. This is our volumetric trigger. Next one, let's start with I think RPG animator. Why not? We won't be able to test it until we finish everything here. So here I will add some variables first, and we say public float cliff hand match start equals to 0.17f. I will show you where these numbers came from. Public float, getting the name, but this is the end, and it equals to 27. Another one is public float, and it's not hand but foot, and it starts 25, and come on, it ends at 65. Okay, we have walk speed, strafe speed, then we say public game object, and that is anchor, and it's a property, so get and set. Anything else? No. Now we need to have a method just like jump and swim, that is public void cliff jump, and I will add another method. You will see when will be called. So public void reset cliff parameters, and another one that is public, public void reset root motion. In reset root motion, we will just simply say animator dot apply root motion equals to false. In cliff climb, we say animator dot apply root motion equals to true. This is one of the cases that we want the root motion, because we want the character controller to move in height with our character. So RPG player motor dot instance dot another one of those booleans in cliff animation equals to true. And finally we say animator dot set trigger and the trigger we want called cliff jump. Okay, in reset cliff parameters we say RPG player motor dot instance dot in cliff range equals to false. Another one is in cliff animation equals false, and another one is do cliff jump equals false, and finally we call this guy here. Okay, then we go into update and we say, hey, if let me do this, changing the code on the fly, nice. But we will have a private animator stat info, and we call it stat info. Okay. At update, we get that stat info, so we say stat info equals to animator dot get current animation stat info layer 0, that is base layer. Okay, we say if stat info dot is name, the name cliff climb, we do check cliff climb stat. Okay, we add that method. Here we say if anchor equals to null, return. Otherwise, we say if the stat info we got dot hash name, dot name hash, sorry, equals to animator dot string to hash. The string that we want is base space layer dot cliff space call. Be careful here, because any typo here will ruin everything and you won't know what is going wrong. And what's that name hash? If double equals. Okay. First, we want to debug dot draw line from our animator dot body position to anchor dot transform dot position. We use the color dot blue here. Then we do to target match. So we say animator dot match target. Match target needs an a position, so anchor dot transform dot position. A rotation, so it will be anchor dot transform dot rotation. Then a part of the body that we want to match, so it's avatar target dot first right hand. Then we need a mask called new match target weight. Here we see new vector 3, we use 0, 1, 0. After that we add another comma 0, because now we are telling that, hey, match the position on only the Y and don't match the rotation. Okay, final piece, we say cliff hand match start, and finally cliff hand match end. And that is how you do target matching. One very important thing is that if you don't apply root motion, your target match won't work. So I will copy the same code, paste it, and here we say instead of right hand, use right foot, and instead of hand, here we use foot. So as you see now, Then coming back, we start the target match of hand in 17% of our animation and finish the targeting match in 27%. So in 27%, the right hand would be in the place of our anchor. But before that, we start few percents before that, we start the foot to match it later on. That's all we have to do in RPG Animator. Next one is RPG Player Motor. First, we have some booleans to add. So public bool in cliff range, and that's get and set. Then we add in cliff animation, and finally we have a do cliff animation. Okay, coming down, let me see, start should be the same. In late update, in fixed update, I changed it to late update for some odd reason, but it didn't work. So in fixed update, we have nothing to do in sliding. In falling, we have nothing to do here. Where was it? Let me take a look. No problem here. Oh yeah, here. We say if we are hitting the jump, we want to add the jump speed to the to move direction. If we are not doing the cliff animation, and later when we are not grounded, we check if we are not falling, if we are not swimming. Here we should check if we are not in cliff animation, and here again, if we are not in cliff animation, we don't want to give control to player in cliff animation. After that, when we are applying the gravity, if we are not swimming and we are not in cliff animation, again we check the grounded if we are not in cliff animation, and finally here we say if else, if not in cliff animation and is streaming. Because previous to that, we would set the move directions y to 0 and move our character, because the only condition left was streaming. But here we should double check it here. Okay. And nothing else, I think. Nope. That is our RPG player motor. Last part of the puzzle, player input. In player input, when we previously simply going to jump, here we need to check and not RPG player motor dot instance dot in cliff range all of this condition, or so we are saying if we are hitting the jump and nothing in cliff range, we are going to do the jump, or if input sorry, let me copy this part. So if we are hitting the jump and RPG player motor dot instance dot in cliff range, but if not RPG player motor dot instance dot do cliff jump. So if we are not in range at all, or if we are in range but we can't do the cliff jump because of the difference of an angle, then do the jump. Else, if again we are hitting the jump button, RPG player motor dot instance dot in cliff range, so we are in range, and RPG player motor dot instance dot do cliff animation. Then we say RPG animator dot instance dot cliff jump. So what happened here? You say if we are hitting the jump key, if we are in cliff range and we can do the cliff jump, do the cliff jump. And with that, all the coding for jump, cliff jump is done. The rest is inside Unity. So let the scripts compile. Come on, compile, compile, compile. You sure you are compiling yet? I'm not sure. Anyway, this is our cliff, okay? The geometry of the cliff is not important which direction it faces. But if you are going to use any game object as the trigger, the direction that you are going to jump, so we are jumping from here on top, okay, should be the positive Z. That's one thing to remember. So we call it cliff trigger. And why did I move it? So cliff trigger. We don't need its mesh renderer, and I will scale it on Z. I will move it back towards somewhere like that, and I will now make a game object empty, call it cliff platform. Not sure if it's centered. No, it's not. Reset. Get it out. What does not contain a definition of do cliff jump. Oh, we have an error here. A typo. Okay, I did do cliff animation here. Yeah, that was all. And it took you so long to just find this one error? Now what? Another one. Okay. Here we go, animation and animation. I'm not sure what the developers on the back end are doing, but compiling gets so long now. Okay, so we have the platform. I will call it geometry. I will parent it to the platform. I will parent the trigger here, and I will make another empty game object, call it anchors, and add it to the platform again. Okay, and reset it. The hell? Where did you go? Where did you go? Why there? Why there? What? No, 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 no. Didn't I set go to geometry and then reset? Where's our oh, this is our normal cube. That's it. We had to put it. Yeah, it's here. Okay. Now reset it, please. Thank you. There we go. I don't need this cube. I will delete it. Okay. So the cliff is the geometry. I will parent it to here. Same for this guy, and I will make an empty game object, call it anchors. And I can now reset the anchors, and it's in position. Okay, now I will duplicate the anchors, call it anchor, removing the S, parenting it to the anchors. Here I will add anchor point. Didn't I get that? Anchor point, yeah. Okay, and you will see the gizmo. I will move it up until I barely see my yellow line on top of the geometry. With that gray geometry, it's a bit hard to see it, but I'm still not on top, so I will move, and we come out. This is that helper line I set. I will move it back till that helper line matches the edge. Okay, going to the top view. You see? There we go. Okay, the side view, moving it a tad bit lower. There we go. So this is our anchor point, one of the anchor points. It's in the center. Now I can tweak the numbers if I want to. Yeah, maybe 0.25 is good. Okay, so I'll duplicate it, move it to the other side. One important thing, I forgot, I said that you need to keep positive Z on trigger. That's wrong. Okay, one thing, draw bonding trigger. Thank you. You see, it works here, but it won't work somewhere else. I will show you why, what I mean at least. So the thing that you need the positive Z to be toward the direction you want to go is the anchors, not the trigger itself. Sorry for that error. So duplicate it, move it to the side, 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 duplicate it, move it to the side. You can add as many as you want. That's the good thing about this method. I had seen people stay there. I will I had seen some people telling that, hey, I use ray casting to find the edge and the position. Yeah, you can do that all, but this is simpler. Why not? Duplicating it one more time and positioning it. And here are our anchor points. Now, going to cliff geometry, adding the cliff trigger, opening the anchors, lock your inspector, select all your anchors, drag and drop on top of the anchor's name here, and you have them, okay? Okay, back to our animator now. We add an empty state. Make transition, make transition, make transition back to idle. Here, sorry for my voice, here we say this transition is, unlock this guy, only when we say cliff jump. This transition is only when we say cliff jump. This transition is ending time, and rename this guy to cliff climb. Remember the name you used in the RPG animator script, okay? In our animations, jumps, jump up high. Come on, okay? So here is the place I got those numbers for RPG animator. When I'm dragging the animation, I watch the exact time, like here, when my foot starts to leave the ground. This is the start of my match targeting on the right hand, and this is the end of right hand matching of animation matching for right hand. God. Before that, here is the time I start the right foot, and 65 is where the guy puts his foot somewhere like here, okay? That's the end of it. Now, here is the place that I want my root motion to be nuked. If I open the events, oh, I had it, okay. I used here anyway. Okay, so let's say I will delete this guy and show you how to do it. This is the place that I want my root animation being reset. How can I do that? Well, first I need to remember the name of the method I created, and that was reset cliff parameters, okay? Remember, it doesn't take any parameter inside of it, okay? Now I hit add event, a window pops up, I change the name. If the method you are calling needs any kind of these parameters, you can add them here, but we don't have it. So let's take a look at the animation itself. It's body orientation without baking to the pose. I use feet without baking and center of mass, and it's not looped, okay? Hit apply to apply this trigger event, and I think we should be able to play it. Let's see. Let's go back to scene view so that we can see our anchor points. By the way, this is the error I found on my camera script. When you use rotation on the spawner, the character spawns, but camera don't reset it to the characters back. It's easy fix. I will do it. So first, I forgot one thing. Our trigger volumetric. God. It's a trigger. Come on. And because I forget it lots of times, I like to put it in the start. Like I'm saying transform, come on, transform dot collider dot is triggered equals to true. This means any type of the collider you have on the transform, it will become trigger. So let's check it. If I run the game, it should be triggered. Yeah. And now we can pass through. We find the closest anchor point, and if I move to the side, it finds the closest anchor point. If I get close and if I rotate around and hit space, I do normal jump. If I face to there and hit space, oh, what happened? Oh, something is wrong. Something is wrong. Let's see. Cliff jump. Cliff jump. This guy is... Ah, here we go. I forgot to put the animation there. Okay. There. So, again, moving to the center, going back, and let's zoom here. I will hit space, and bam, I cliff jump. Now you see, I'm right on the edge. Okay? That is the exact place I showed you by this line. So this line is where your character will end. Okay? If I put it here, then my character will stay here. I want to show you something else too. If I move back down, hitting a space but pausing the video, you see the debug line that is drawn. Okay, one thing. Second, what is the meaning of having the root motion? Take a look at my capsule collider from character controller. It starts to move by character, and here is the place that my hand match target starts. It jumps up. This is... oh, what happened? Where did my character go? Where did my character go? Whoa. Ah, come on. I forgot something. Anyway, the thing is that my camera is collided to the center. Let's fix that because that's a problem. So here and here I will say or if other dot get component RPG camera is true, then return. And we don't need this if here, what I was thinking. Okay, and we will put it in the same place we have there. And the thing that happened was that my camera collided with the game object here, and I didn't notice it before this. This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened now. Anyway, yep. Okay. So okay. So this is the time that my match target is finished. Okay, now my left foot is going for the match target. as you see, it's trying to move up, even though my hand is now moving back. No problem, we are moving forward and we jump, and here is when my match targeting is ended, because you see no debug lines being drawn, at least the blue line. Okay, and anchor point is got 0, it's got null, because I came out of the trigger. And you may notice that my controller is sliding a bit, very small sliding there, but this is the time that my controller here, that you saw that minimum jump, this is the time that I nuked the root motion, and from here on it's just simple animations going on. Okay, and I can now move and jump normally. One thing that needs fixed, but it's easy fix now, jump, is that now we know how to do the target matching. Pay attention if I move back a bit. If I run and jump the edge, you see I'm sliding down till I hit the edge or the ground. Oh, there we go, one more time. What's going on here? What is colliding with my game object here? Is it the character spawner? Shouldn't be. No, it's not the character spawner, huh? Ah, I'm not even close to there. So, no, it's not the character spawner. So what is interfering with... this is the wall. I hope so, that's the wall. Oh, there we go, you see? I'm still colliding with this game object. I don't want that. How can I do that? Well, I can select it, add it to ignore raycast. Let's see if that solves. So now we are working properly, and yep. Okay. So this is how you do the cliff jump. I'm on 1 hour, but I had longer videos. I want to fix one issue with my camera. It makes me nuts. And that is when I initialize the camera. I put mouse X to 0. I will make it... what happened? Yeah, I will make the scene manager. That was why it was opening managers, scene manager. So I take the instance of the scene manager in the game. I will calculate the distance, the angle between the player spawner that we used and the transform of the camera, and I put the mouse X at initialize to that. This 1 line or 2 lines of the code in itself fixes the camera being not aligned to the character. I get this null reference every now and then, and I couldn't track it, you know. Come on. Come on. It's playing already. Where are your camera? Okay, why? It was working and it's not working now. Play. Yeah. Scene manager. Oh yeah, because I forgot one line. Okay, instance equals this in start of scene manager. I didn't cache the instance. Okay, so now we are playing and the camera should work now. Should behave nice, and there we go. It starts at the back of the character, so we don't have that jump. One more thing that I will work is when I'm using the left mouse key and moving, for example, in front of the character to watch for whatever, and as I hit the right mouse, it bam, instantly jumps there. I don't like it. I may try and change the behavior, although this is a nice behavior because now I have a first person camera controller in the same time. I didn't notice that. I was going to add this, but if I move back, the character is aligned. Okay, for example, if I move and look at here, if I move back, our character is aligned. Okay, so these are the things that I wanted to cover. One thing that I may work for 5 or a few minutes is this. We have to add the anchors this manually, because the way I set up this bad boy is flexible. I can now move my trigger, scale my trigger, or do whatever I want with trigger and geometry separately from anchors. But I hate doing these type of things manual. Well, we have a nice way of doing that. Let me see. In here, in cleave trigger geometry, in start method, we say anchors equals to transform dot parent dot get components in children. The components we want is anchor point. Okay, let's see if it works. The thing that I had done is that from here I jumped one level to the parent, and in this parent I got all the anchor points in the children. Let's see if it goes recursively and finds the children of the children. That's the hope there. Yeah, it finds it nicely, and bingo. Now I don't have to do it manually. I can simply put it as private. And Control X from here, move it into private variables here. One thing though, you may say, hey, what if I don't want to follow this way? Well, you can put a while loop in the start, so while it's false, then constantly go to parents up and up and up and find a parent recursively, and then use that parent to get all the children. Another way is to simply put this array as public and let the designers handle the stuff. Anyway, we have our triggered cleave platform now. One thing that I don't like. Let me hide my train, go to my water. First of all, I need to rescale this guy to match it to the position, and I need Y, please, thank you, and orthographic, thank you, and scale it back so that we have the water. Okay, one thing, if I add that draw trigger boundaries to this guy, watch what I get. This is not the proper boundary. Hey, this is our boundary, the green one. I don't know why it's not showing properly yet. It's getting the boundary, okay, but it's not the boundary I'm looking for. So if you have an object, you see its rotation is 0, that is parented to an object that is rotated, this is the problem and behavior you get. Anyway, just wanted to mention that. And yep, we have our trigger jump. In next episode, I will work on few things. One is falling, one is sliding animation, and if I had enough time, I will fix that behavior on the jump down, and maybe add another trigger jumping from top of the platforms toward down. We will see. We will see. The most, I think we will have 2 more tutorials on Mecanim, and after that we will switch to further developing our RPG core actually, especially our characters, statistics, stuff like that. I will take a look at the basic GUI stuff in Unity 4.6. I still have a problem because in the version B9 that I have, we don't have the mask component that they show us a lot in the tutorials and videos out there. We have the image mask, but it's not behaving properly because this is a beta version anyway. Have fun, everybody. Bye bye.